Hey everybody, this is Melina from ScrapbookingwithMe.com and Me Crafty Scrapper here on YouTube and Instagram. I wanted to bring you today another episode of M's Scrapbusters, hashtag MS Scrapbusters. If you have not participated in any of these scrapbusting, scrap busting challenges, I want you to try one. I love going and looking at everybody's creations and looking up that hashtag and seeing everybody. So if you haven't tried any of these challenges, I have a playlist that I will link in the description box below. You can just click on the playlist. It pulls up every M Scrapbusters video that I've made, and as far as all the challenges go, and I want to see your creations. Today I want to show you how I made these V-cut pockets with the front tucks. Okay, so let's get started. These are just bigger scraps of paper or cardstock that I had in my stash. Now, we can make big ones, small ones, it does not matter what size you want to make these. This one is teeny tiny. It is only 2 inches wide. It is 2 inches wide by 4 inches tall. Okay, and then this one is a large one. It is actually a 6 by 12 sheet of cardstock that I had left from when I cut a piece. And it is folded in half, so it measures about 4 1/4 by 6. Of course, 6 tall because it was a half sheet. All right, so these big like this would look great on your journal pages. So I've decided I want to start doing this whenever I'm making stuff, especially for the M Scrapbusters. I'm going to start adhering the stuff into my journal. So see how cute that is as a pocket page. So just to adhere it in, I'm going to get me some score tape. That's how I'm going to put it in here. I like putting my stuff inside of journals with score tape just so that I don't have any squishy liquid glue popping out later and messing up an adjacent page. Let's see. You could also tuck these in to pockets that you already have in your journal. You don't have to adhere them in like in this front library pocket. You could do this, but of course you're not going to be able to get to your tuck as easily if you tuck it into another spot in your journal. So let's do one more little strip here, just down the middle to make sure. I'm doing this because it never fails. I have a comment asking, well, how do you even use that in a journal? So I want to from now on, try my best to remember to show you where I'm going to put it in my journal. And that also gives me the option to have a video down the road to show you a flip through of all the pages where I've added M Scrapbuster stuff to my journal. So there is about where I want to put it in my journal. I'm going to kind of press down on that middle. Yep, we're good. That middle strip of score tape. And then I'm going to get my bone folder and just kind of burnish that down. Now on the front of this one that I made, I've got, this is one of those ribbon M Scrapbusters we made that we placed on the ribbon that we kind of didn't care for and placed little clusters, made clusters on them. So I put that on there. This one has a little tag that comes out. I made a little pocket at the bottom of that one. So it's got a little pocket on it. And then you've got a tag that goes in that little tuck there. And then you have this top pocket that holds a journaling card or a tag, or you could even do a fold over little booklet and put in those. It's got plenty of room. So that is what we're going to be making today with the M's Scrap Busters Challenge. So let me get this little tiny one up here so you can see that. I'll go through this one. It's got just this tiniest of tiny little tags in the tuck there, and then a little journaling space there with a tab at the top in the top pocket. So that's how that one is. You can, like I said, there's really no measurements to these. You can make them any size you want. You do need it more wide than tall. So whatever your scrap piece is, I'm just taking that branding strip off the top. Whatever your scrap piece is, it does need to be more wide than tall. Okay, so this one, because I do get questions about, well, what was that measurement? I really need to know the measurement. This one is about 7.5. It's a scrap piece, so it's not exact. By 3 3/8. So 3 3/8 tall. So this is going to be a little squatty one, and 7.5, a little over 7.5 wide. And all I'm going to do is kind of fold over, see where we would be meeting. Come on over just a little bit more. There is no measuring to this as far as the folding over. If you need to measure, you'll just need to get your score pal out, I guess, and measure. But all you're going to do is fold over that first flap, figure out which one you want as your front. And I'm good with this one. Then you're going to fold over and not come all the way over to that. So you're going to make them, you know, as wide as you would want. Okay, I'm going to ink this just so you can see better. So see, I didn't come all the way to the other edge. And if you have space before you get to that fold, that's fine too. That just works in your favor to get you a little bit wider of a pocket. Okay. So now to get the V part of it, all you're going to do, and look what I got. Look what I got. I don't have that big, huge trimmer up here anymore. Okay, I'm going to ink my folds just so that you can see where I'm putting them on my trimmer. Okay, so I'm going to unfold it. This is going to be my inside flap. So you see my fold line there. That's my inside flap. I'm going to push this up to where the fold line is just right at the top where it's about to be cut, but I am not cutting on that fold line. So I'm going to bring it back some so it doesn't get cut. And then I'm going to do the point. I mean, you could do it at a certain number if you wanted to. Like right now I'm at 2, but I mean, if your measurement of your pocket is different, your V is going to be different. I want my V shape here because this part that gets cut off, this is your V shape. So I want my V shape here to be a little deeper. So I'm going to bring my point a little deeper here, making sure that my fold line is not in. I'm going to stand up so I can make sure, because I know that this piece glares on the light. Making sure that my fold line is not being cut. Okay. So then I can go as deep as I would like there. I'm going to hold it down. We're not going all the way to the bottom of the pocket, okay? So then I'm going to trim that off. So see, that gives you a little idea. I will ink that so you can see it a little better, because I know it's a neutral piece of cardstock mostly. All right, so there is our first V-cut. All right, you are going to cut this one pretty much at the same angle and leaving that little lip there. You're going to leave that much of a piece. So I just kind of use my fingernail at where I want that cut. I'm going to unfold it all the way just so that I do not cut anything else. And on this side, this is your front flap. I need to come down here to the bottom. I see my little nail line there. And again, if you are very precise at your cutting, then I don't know. Because I'm not very precise, and this is not going to be the project for you, I guess, because it's not a measurement. If you want to measure, of course, you certainly can, and do an even better tutorial than I'm doing. But your point always needs to be touching to get a good degree of the same angle cut. So your corner needs to be touching. So there mine is. My fold line is not on the actual trim part. It's not going to be cut. The fold line's not going to be cut. Okay, so you just figure out if this is what you're wanting. It does not have to match perfectly, and this is what I'm going to show you. Put my little scrap pieces over there. I'm going to ink this so you can see it a little better. Okay, you've got that fold over, then you have this fold over. See how cute? It does not have to match on both sides. Let me pull that one back out that I put in here. They did not match on both sides. This one is skinnier, this one is wider here. So they did not match. They did not have to meet perfectly in the middle, but that one is pretty straight on, pretty straightforward. All right, so I want to pull this little flap where I'm going to have something tucked in. I want to pull this little flap over some. So all I'm going to do is unfold it again. This is my front flap. I'm going to pull it down to the bottom because that's where I have my straight edge. And I'm just going to go over about a ½ inch and trim that little piece off. And then I will ink all around, and that way I can show you how it's going to line up. Okay? So there is that. I'm going to do a little notch just to make it easier to get that tab out. And I'm going to make myself a little pencil mark. So right about under that butterfly wing is where I need that middle to be. I'm just going to barely notch it. Cute. All right, so to adhere it, you're going to unfold bottom flap, top flap. You are going to put glue at the bottom middle and then over on the bottom on your front. So nothing here, because you've got plenty of glue in that middle section. So glue in the middle bottom, All right, and then you've got your glue all the way over to here, so it will adhere on the top flap. Then you're going to put just a little smidge of glue there at that top tuck part where you're going to put your little tuck of paper, tag, whatever. You're just going to put that little circle of glue here. I'm going to get my excess off. Okay, and then there is my V-cut pocket with the front tuck. I'm going to squeeze out my excess glue on the bottom and push those together. Okay, so there is my pocket and there is my tuck. And all I do is just go through here and I get out some of my scraps, and if it fits, great. If it doesn't, then I find something that does. So that one's a little thick. Let's see. That one fits nicely. I need to do this end. So, yep, that one fits really good. So let's do it about there. I'm going to trim that off. And then round my corners, just do a little journal tuck spot in that one instead of a tag shape like I did in the other two that I did off camera. My little prototypes. Okay, put that in. And then you just measure your pocket opening. So I've got 2 3/4. So this is 2 3/4. So I want to make the pocket about 2.5. I mean the tag that goes in the pocket, about 2.5. So let's look. Okay, I've got a 2.5 inch wide piece, and then I just need to take some off of the top. Let's see how that fits. Yep, that works. And I'll round the corners. And this is just a plain piece of craft cardstock, so it would be really good for a journal spot. Cute. Okay, there's another. All right, let's make a bigger one. Let's do this wild paper here. I love the polka dots. I love both sides, but they are a little brighter than what I usually work with. All right, let's see. What do I want as the outside? I think the polka dots. Okay, so I'm just going to, this is, let me measure it for you. This is 8.5 wide by 6 tall. Okay, so I'm just kind of laying over, folding over, and then figuring out where I want the other piece. So there's my first fold, and then I'm going to fold over and meet the other side. And if you fold this just right, when you get that front flap V-cut, you won't have to trim off any of that. I don't know, I think you're going to be able to see it a lot better if I fold it this way. You will. Okay, let's fold it this way. Those polka dots are very pretty, but they're so dark you can't see where I'm cutting and all that stuff. Okay, so we have one flap that's a little wider, and then one flap that's a little more narrow. Okay, and I will go ahead and ink this so you can see the defined edge that I'll be cutting. I'm going to ink my fold lines. Excuse me. I'm going to ink my fold lines. And then I'm going to ink this inside so you can see when I'm cutting it. Okay, so I've got inside flap is wider, outside flap is more narrow. Fold line. Okay, and then I've got to figure out, so this one's taller than that last one we did. So I've got to figure out how far down I want my V cut. So I want it pretty far, just so I have about this much at the bottom still left for a good pocket. And I'm going to pull back on my fold line to make sure that it does not get cut. And then I'm ready to chop. So there's that first cut. I'll ink that so you can see it good. So you wouldn't have been able to see it if I'd have done the polka dots. All right. And then this one, this flap, I'm going to pull it down to the bottom of my trimmer and pull over my fold line almost to the edge. And then give myself enough space at the bottom so that I can have that good tuck. And then make sure that my point is at the bottom of my cutter, trimmer. Look at that, how pretty. I like that cut. That worked really well. I'll put that up there. Put these in my little scrap pile. I'm gonna ink my edges. Okay, so that one is very pretty. I like that one, how it turned out. I don't think that I am going to trim this at all. Once I get a tag in there and have my notch, I think I will be all right. So I'm gonna pull this down. Give myself a little notch there and then ink the notch. Now we're going to put our line of glue in the middle and on the back of the front flap. We're going to fold over our first and bottom flap there. And then we're going to put some glue just in that little top corner so that when we fold it over, our tuck spot that's on the front of our pocket will be secure. Okay, and then you can add any kind of decorations to these that you want. I decorated that first one and this one that I made off camera just so that you could see final product and everything in it and how it's decorated. But, you know, I'm not going to fully decorate all of these. I do like this little butterfly and thought that I could just pop that out. Oh yeah, that works. All right, I'm just going to ink this little circle that I punched out of that other paper and glue that on there just for a little simple decoration for my pocket. Okay, and then I'm just going to measure this. So I've got 6 inches tall by 3 inches wide. So I need a pocket piece that is, maybe 2 3/4. Let's see. Oh yeah, that fits really well. And then I'm going to trim below that just to give myself that little peekaboo there. And I will round my corners. Ink my edges. There. And then for the bottom and on your tuck spot, if the glue has come down a little too far, further than you need it to come, just put in your bone folder and kind of wiggle it around in there until you get it where you want it. That's still a little bit too narrow. So I want to make a piece that's about yay wide. Go ahead and trim that off and see if that fits. It does, but it's a little snug, so let's trim a smidge off of that. Not much, about 1/8 of an inch. Yes, that works. And then I'm just going to round those front edges and add that in there like so. There is that one done. Easy, easy, easy. All right, I had this piece that I rolled over it with my chair. And so it all wrinkled it up. And I thought, let's try this. Folding it over, and we'll get rid of some of that wrinkle that my chair caused when this piece of paper was in the floor and I ran over it. The chair rollers just did a number on it. So I cut off the worst part, and then this part you can still see some of it, but it will work. I'm going to put my little black piece of cardstock up here since this is pretty much the color of my desktop. And let's do this one real quickly. I won't make anything to go in the pockets of this one, just so that I can make it for you real quick and you can see how it comes together one more time before you start making yours. These are quick and easy and work great for your journals. You could even add these to a card that you're sending to someone. That would be cute, and have them a little pocket present inside. All right, so I'm leaving some at the bottom. This is my inside flap, and I'm pulling away from the fold line so it doesn't get cut. You do not want to cut the fold line. Come in some from that. Then make sure that your point is there, right up against your guide. All right, and then other side, have to come to the bottom of your guide. Make sure that your fold line doesn't get cut. I want this to come down just a little bit more. And then cut off your triangles. And then you've got that little V. And I'm going to ink my edges so you can see that defined line a little better. Ink around all of it. I just ink everything because I don't know, if I'm going to glue it into a journal or if I'm just going to tuck it into a journal. So I'll just ink everything. All right, and then make your little notch if you want that. on your little front tuck. Okay. And then to glue it together, bottom, middle, and front flap, get glue. All right, and then your tiny little piece that's at the top of your notch. That's how I know where I need to glue that. Now, you could also glue all the way up into here if you wanted to, but I'm always afraid that I'm going to get my glue, my liquid glue, inside my pocket, which would be easy enough to fix with a bone folder, just running it down in there. But I like just making that one little spot there. So then you have your top pocket and you have your tuck space here. So I hope that you have enjoyed this little video. I'm going to put just a little bit more glue here. It didn't get all the way to the edge. Hope you have enjoyed this video and these little V-cut pockets with front tucks. And let's get our other huge one that we made and show it. There it is. And with this tag here that I made, the tag was too long, so I just folded it up, put some glue here, and made that a little pocket, if anybody is wondering, on that little tag piece that I put in that front tuck of that first one. So that's how I did that. There are your V-cut pockets with front tucks. That is this week's M's Scrap Busters video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section below. Duh. And I will see you in the next video. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye, guys.